if you break fast at dinner, is that breakfast?
Yeah. Y'all are now watching The Return. Turn.
Nah, ain't no return. Let's
Don
get straight.
Yo, I really want a Don DeMarco drop. Don DeMarco.
Man want to be on snacks. So
Bro,
bad.
let me tell y'all. So that's what we should do. That's what our new podcast should be. It should be like Christian dudes talking about battle rap.
No, we're going right into the same
All right.
issue. I don't know if that was an intentional segue, but we're changing the format of the podcast. The original format brought us to the demise that you guys have saw, and we didn't record a podcast for a year.
Yeah.
So, do you want to kind of elaborate, or?
I don't know if there's much to elaborate on. I mean, so when we first started the pod, I think for us it was, yeah, we've told the story a million times. Like, we wanted to, we just like talking to each other, I think.
As y'all can see how this episode started. I didn't even know we were recording.
Yeah, I think we just like having conversation. And then, for me, I just felt like it was a great opportunity for us to like do some discipleship without it being like, let's sit down. And,
corny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't want to say corny. That's kind of hard.
No, it was corny. A lot of it's corny. Like, let's be honest. That's why people don't be trying to do it. But I was like, all right, how can we get some discipleship in without it having a curriculum? And then both of us have similar interests. So we were like, yo, I think I was starting the podcast stuff, and you were like interested in, how to do some stuff on social media. And, at the time you were rapping, you had crew. Oh, did I let the cat? No, you already told us that you quit rapping. We'll talk a little bit more.
I didn't. Oh, I did.
You did. Right. Yeah, we did a whole episode.
Yep.
But yeah, so the way we got here is we were just like, all right, let's get in front of a mic. I had all this equipment at my house, and
I missed the first setup, man.
The first setup was fire. And
special.
you know what? If you come to my house now, that's what it's set up like.
Really?
Yeah, so we could do the pod at my house because I set the whole thing back up.
Yeah, the first setup was special. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
it was special.
I liked it a lot, man. It was just we had a baby, and then that kind of changed everything.
So they answered that question. We are not recording at the house.
We can, but not
I feel
if
like
we
you
wanted.
would be obligated if the baby cried. I don't see you just going.
Well, we would just have to do it during the day because she goes to daycare now.
She goes to daycare already.
See, we're getting to know each other again.
Right? No, seriously. Like, it's like we see each other on Sunday, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all we get. All we get. So
this extra day is gonna help to catch up on life.
Yeah. So we started the pod because of those reasons, and then it became fun, and then we realized, oh man, we could actually like make some money off of this.
That's what we were wrong.
And we started seeing people's lives change, which was, I don't think we didn't get into it for that reason.
Not at all.
I mean, I think we generally thought it was ministry in the very loose term of ministry, but we didn't expect people to actually hit us up and be like, yo, thank you for adding clarity to these particular things. And it was great. It was great, but life be lifing.
Boy.
Is that the name of this episode?
There we go.
Life be lifing?
Because, boy. I don't know, like, what? So it's like we were trying to do all right, I don't remember when the last episode came out. What, February or something?
Oh, yeah. February of last year.
So we're like, what, 55, 56 weeks out without doing a podcast.
Yeah. Whole year and some.
We got done with that episode, and it was just like, so what we talk about next week? And
then we just didn't record.
It's like we kind of just threw the towel in.
Yeah.
Unintentionally.
It was pretty intentionally.
Because I think I was in another I don't want to say midlife crisis, but
what it was you got a new job.
Yeah.
You got a new job, and we were trying to figure out scheduling. We were really pregnant at the time, and you were about to get married.
Yeah.
So all of those things combined, we were just like, all right, I think it was like, we were like, yo, when we gonna record again? And then we never really figured it out.
Schedules were hectic, bro.
Right.
Like, when we first did the podcast, I was off Sundays and Mondays. Mm-hmm. So we used to record the podcast on Mondays.
Yeah.
The way my work schedule look now, like,
you never know.
Yeah, it's like, I'm Monday through Friday, but it's ugly. Like I work literally dead smack in the middle of the day to the wee hours of the night. So yeah, I kept making the excuse like we don't have the time, and then this dude across the way from me made a status on Facebook that got it's crazy because I deleted my social media too. I think only reason I had downloaded social media, I mean I'm gonna keep it now because we had the podcast.
Yeah.
But I downloaded it again because we had a janky photographer at our wedding.
Oh man.
And I was trying to do my research to get, to get at cuz. And he posted a post. He was like, in a nutshell, it was just like, I want to do a podcast again. I need a new co-host.
Yeah.
Bro, I was so hot.
Bro thought I was subtweeting him.
Oh, I was so hot, bro. And I was
not
like, bro.
subtweeting.
So, but I'm at the same time, I'm kind of thankful for that because I was like, all right. I was at work and I was like, how can we make this work?
Yeah.
I was like, I keep saying I don't have any time, but I have to make this work because I kind of miss doing a podcast. I don't go to work until 12. So I was like, bro, we could just do it in the morning throughout the week. Mm-hmm. And I asked what days he was available. And I mean, we're still figuring it out, but
yeah.
we're back.
So let's do a little bit of catch up. If we could give like a 1 minute summary of what the last year has looked like. Cause I mean, like if you're listening to this or if you're watching this, you're probably somebody who's watched the pod in the past. You may be somebody who's subscribed. You may call yourself a fan. We never even came up with like what our fan club would be called or whatever.
See, I don't want to follow to that. We just gonna do a podcast and we're gonna let stuff naturally happen.
So what would how would you do your like 1 minute summary of what has happened since the last time people have heard you on a microphone?
I got closer to God. It was a journey. It hurt. I cried. I was happy. I got married. New position at my job. Life be lifing.
Yeah.
That's less than a minute.
Life be lifing. Yeah.
That's like all the highlighted words of my life in a year.
Yeah. I think this last year has probably been the craziest year ever. I mean, like, so the place that we're at right now is the Connect. We used to meet here. Mm-hmm. I think last time we were talking to y'all, we had just kind of started meeting here. I don't remember. But we were meeting here. We got a building. Our church got a building, which was huge. But we had to move into that building. And in the midst of that, my wife and I had a baby, or she had a baby, and I was just there. But I also got COVID in the hospital. And it was the day after my best friend's wedding, which was crazy. And wow. And then I got a new job, so I started working at our local college. And what else happened? I don't know.
You married us.
Yeah.
Not
Ty,
only did I get married, but he married us.
Ty and D got married. I did their ceremony.
Like I'm in the left hand club now.
Yeah,
like, this is legit.
And then I started a business as well.
Yes, sir.
It was around my birthday actually. Started a business last year, so a lot has changed. But the reason why I put that status up is because over the last year, I've had so many people hit me up being like, yo, what's up with the podcast? What's up with the podcast? What's up with the podcast? Whether it's my podcast or our podcast together. And I realized like people actually do listen to the podcast, right? And people associate us with those conversations, sitting in front of microphones and talking about stuff. And even people not Christian was hitting me up like, yo, what happened to you and Ty podcast? I'm like, you listen to that? Like, what's up? Like, how did you even see it? So I think I always feel that itch, but what happened was I have a podcast set up at my house too, and I have one in my office at the church. I don't know if you saw that, but I have podcast setups everywhere, and I do not record. Well, I record, but I don't put it out, right? So one day I was in the church, and I was like stupid frustrated because I was recording this podcast, and it just sounded stupid. Like I was like, man, I need like somebody to talk to, And then I thought about it. All my favorite podcasts are conversational.
Those are the best podcasts.
Yeah. So I feel like I was like, dog, but Ty busy all the time, and then I don't really have nobody else. So I just threw it on Facebook, and I got, Anyway, I won't talk about the responses, but
no, I want to hear the responses because I didn't click on anything.
No, it was a couple of people who were like, yo, I'm your man. It's like, and it's cool.
Do I know these people?
You probably know a couple of them.
Hit me up. I don't appreciate
No.
that.
I don't think it was that. I think it's just.
fade.
I don't think they were saying like, they were a replacement. I think it was more so like they just kind of want to do a pod
Their
too.
response should have been hit up Ty. I don't appreciate that. If you know me, hit me up.
That's
I got to
crazy,
lay hands
bro.
on you.
Nah,
I got to lay hands on
crazy.
you.
That's crazy. Nah, but yeah, and then Ty hit me up. He was like, all right. I think the text was just like, all right, so when we gonna do this podcast?
I was at work going through. I done called my wife and everything. Like,
Yo, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I did not think that, like, I wasn't trying to be. You know how like sometimes you throw stuff out and you kind of got people in mind. You like, all right, I'm gonna hit a little subtweet. I was not thinking that at all, bro.
That's how I took it.
I thought you were complete. Like I was just like, all right, Todd just don't want to do the pod no more. It's all
true.
good.
You know how MJ was looking at the iPad? He was like, I took that. I took that personally. D was just like, dang, like, why he just hit you up? I was like, I don't know, but I feel some type of way. So I'm trying to figure something out.
D, I apologize. I apologize.
Oh,
I legit just thought Ty didn't want to do the podcast anymore because every time we talked about the podcast, we just never got nowhere with it. So I was
because I kept using the excuse that, all right, I guess something else that I did within the year too. I am learning to options trade.
Right.
So like right now, I would be trading right now, but I'm sacrificing whatever day we do the podcast to not trade. I think it's just good for my mental health as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm legit busy. Like I wake up, I trade, I go to work, I come home.
He has no time.
I literally have no time. So to do this is a sacrifice.
Yeah.
But I need this, and this. I don't want to say I need this. That sounds crazy. I really want to do this.
I think we do need it. I think both of us need it. One, because like our friendship has to be cultivated, and we don't have no time really. Like so, we probably got Sundays after church, which we.
But it's so brief because of my wife, and she's gonna start watching the podcast. She probably gonna yell at me about this later, but she be ready to go.
I'll be ready. Well, all of us be ready to go.
But once everybody, like when we used to have the connect, when everybody leave, like you said, we would have like an hour or two of just like catching up. Yeah. We don't even do that anymore because
right.
my life has changed.
Which, and we talked about this a little bit, but like Kim Yada and I have talked about just like saying one Sunday a month, like the four of us or the six of us, just like leave and go get lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like just hang out. But anyway, the point I was trying to get to was we need this conversation just as friends.
I
and
agree.
then secondly, both of us are creatives and you're not rapping anymore. So I feel like you need this for a creative aspect, just kind of like expressional, like, getting yourself out. And then like the last part is just like the discipleship piece of just like us sharpening each other. And I don't know if we'll talk about new format or what our new decisions will be with whatever the podcast is going to be, but it'll give us an opportunity to kind of drill into studying the Bible more opposed to Christian hip hop and, all of that stuff. And if you're watching this and the way you found us is because, we talk about Christian hip hop artists, you might be a little disappointed.
Yeah, so I ain't gonna lie, he's like the king of segues because that was amazing. That brings us to the next subject. I kind of hinted at it earlier, but the way that we did the podcast before, that is no more. We even changing the name. Are we officially going with the name that we talked about? Are we going to have some Discord about it? Or
I mean, we can have Discord about it. You want to talk about it on camera? Don DeMarco. Hey, we gonna get that Don DeMarco drop. Nah, but we can at least talk about the change in. So then I'll just ask you, like, why don't you want to do He's the Pass Down the Rapper anymore? Because,
like you spoke on earlier when we first met, I was rapping at the time. That's one. I mean, he's still a pastor, guys.
I am still a pastor.
I'm not rapping anymore, at least not like seriously. I mean, I haven't wrote a rapping forever, but I mean, that's dead.
So you don't consider yourself a rapper anymore?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't associate with it. Like I said, my life has changed over this past year. I would consider myself more of a still beginning trader though. Like we talked about it. I'm doing it now. It's like whatever I do, I associate myself with that. And
you create an identity.
I do. That's something
which can be detrimental.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's something I have to work on. But yeah, I would associate myself as a trader right now, not a rapper. Like, whatever I do, I put everything into it, and I put everything into trading right now.
Yeah.
So I haven't thought about rap. That's that. But yeah, so when I was rapping, me and Barbara, we would sit and talk about Christian hip hop a lot, and not just Christian hip hop, and that's how the podcast started. We don't do like our lives have changed. We talk about the Bible more, and just what we could be doing more as Christians, way more than what we talked about. Just like what music is happening.
Yeah.
And I can't even tell you the last Christian hip hop. This probably sound crazy because people like. I feel bad for the fans. It's like, oh my gosh, but like,
I ain't gonna
what
lie.
is the last Christian hip hop song or album that you played? Because
Nah.
I can't even think of it. For me,
I ain't gonna lie, it ain't really been a lot of good stuff to come out. I mean, I know we not talking about Christian hip hop.
oh, this is gonna be the last part y'all
But
getting that. So enjoy.
I keep my finger on the pulse, but it really ain't a lot of good stuff out there, And I think we're like semi-traditionalists when it comes to Christian hip hop. So, or at least maybe I am. So I only really enjoy like Swoop and KB, a little bit of Lecrae, but like I just haven't gotten into like the new kids, So like there's a dude who I follow on Twitter. I forgot his name. His name starts with a B. It's like Be Smooth or Be Cool or something like that. But he follows all of the Christian hip hop artists, and like for the last month, he's prayed for every day in the month. He's prayed for somebody in CHH. And as I was looking at it, I was like, I don't know none of these people. Like, he's praying for me. I'm like, I don't know these people. So I'm like, maybe I'm just old.
We're at the age where we tapped out. Bro.
Yeah.
It happens, guys.
Shout out to Caleb Gordon, though.
Yeah, he holding the torch. But yeah, I think, ironically, last week when I was going to church, I listened to Gospel Gangsters. Mm-hmm. That album still holds, but I'm literally showing my.
But that's old.
I'll show, but that's the last like.
Christian that's even
album.
Too old for you.
Because
yeah, but that's still too old for you. Like that was old when you were listening to it.
You think so? It came out in '97.
For real?
Yeah.
No, there must have been another Gospel Gangster.
Oh yeah, not
that.
The first album. I Can See Clearly Now.
That came
out that album.
Yeah.
That album
here we go.
Fire.
He's a passing on the rapper back.
Oh no, that's done. We gonna dead that right now. So, where are we going with the new format?
Yeah, so
I hope y'all enjoy that. That's all y'all gonna get.
Yeah, that's the last little kick right there. So yeah, I think we're very much still trying to figure it out. But what we do know is we're both passionate about the Word of God, and like we're particular about it too, right? So we don't just like read it and just that's it, right? Like we want to dig deep into the soil of the scriptures. So I think that's going to be the core of our new format, is that we have conversations about the Bible, and those conversations would include how to apply these things in our lives, what this looks like in modern culture. All of those things are really important to us as people. So I think us putting it in a podcast form is just natural. So yeah, what you guys say about that?
I agree. So do we say the name?
Sure.
So it's official.
Sure.
MIDTOWN Disciples. It's not the name of the podcast.
MIDTOWN Disciples.
He's the rapper.
I'm not the rapper at all.
I'm sorry, he's the pastor. I'm the rapper. That is dead as of this episode. So.
Yeah. He's the pastor on the rapper is dead. MIDTOWN Disciples is alive and kicking.
And so going forth, that's what it would be in all social media.
Why is it MIDTOWN Disciples?
Okay.
For those people who might be wondering.
For our church, we felt that God has called us to be in the MIDTOWN area. For years, that's where we've been trying to go and get planted as a church, and we finally have the building.
MIDTOWN Daytona Beach.
Yeah, I'm sorry, MIDTOWN Daytona Beach. So that's where the MIDTOWN part came from. Disciples, even though Byron is a pastor, we still consider ourselves as disciples, which means like you're constantly learning about the life of Jesus Christ, and you're following in those ways.
Yeah,
so,
I'm a follower of Jesus, an apprentice of Jesus, so that makes me a disciple. So,
correct,
yeah.
and I feel like that literally fits what we're doing. Like we're literally in MIDTOWN right now.
Yeah,
yeah, we're disciples. Like
which means we probably have to record the podcast here.
Oh wait, so the building is not it's not considered Midtown?
That is Midtown, but I don't see us recording the podcast in the church.
I get you saying now that at the crib. You don't want to record at the
crib. Yeah, that's technically not Midtown.
So I guess by default we do have
we got to do it here. Well, all right, cool.
Yeah, so that's the name of the podcast,
Midtown Disciples. I love it.
This is the last episode of He's the Pastor, I'm the Rapper, unfortunately. But if you guys like the conversations that we had when we talked about the Bible, this is that times 10.
So why? So if you're a subscriber right now, why should you keep listening?
If you just want to hear about the word, hear two brothers talk about the word and the I don't want to say the full context of the word, but we're just going to sit down and dissect the word, and you're just going to see true conversations on that. And if, like I said, we did remnants of that in the podcast, but this is just going to be that on steroids. So if you like those moments where we did that on the podcast, you're going to really love this podcast. If you enjoyed the hip hop aspect of it way more than that, then this podcast may not be for you.
I mean, we're still us, so it's probably still going to be some references here and there. I'm sure I'll talk about Jay-Z.
Maybe like at the beginning. Like that's how we get started, but once we get into the episode.
Well, but even think about the way that I illustrate things, right?
You're right.
So like I usually run to some cultural thing to kind of emphasize something, right? So you'll still get elements of that. But what I think I've realized is when you go back and listen to our podcast, the biggest podcast, so like the biggest numbers we have are Christian hip hop podcasts, but the most impactful. So like the ones that have the comments that are like, wow, I didn't know that, or, you know, can you tell us more, blah, 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 like things that really impacts people's spiritual life are those podcasts where we were just talking through things that are in the text. So I think that's encouraging, you know, and I think that helps us make the transition a little bit better. And in a sense, like this will almost be like a Bible study for a lot of people, you know?
Yes, I agree. I do want to thank the people. We threw out bait on YouTube and Instagram just to see if people still cared. And you guys still care. I was actually and TikTok. We got the most reactions on Instagram. But still, like, I was shocked. I ain't
Shout out
think
to
we
y'all.
gonna get, that many people to pay attention. But Instagram had like over 30 votes. So if we just start off with a core 30, I'm thankful for that. Like, bro, that I know y'all probably saw it in the last episodes of the podcast. I was so like heavy on like monetizing and stuff. I don't care about that right now.
Well, you know what's interesting is I do. You know, so like we had a flip. Because remember when we first started, I was like, man, you want to make money? What? And now I'm just like, remember we had a conversation. I'm like, yo, I'm leaving we leaving way too much money on the table.
It's crazy how mindsets have changed.
Yeah.
Like I guess I'm cool.
I also had another child in that time. And so here's what got me, and I don't know how we wrap this podcast up, but
we wrapping it up.
I think those life changes really affected me. So when we first started the podcast, I was in a really comfortable place. Like my kids at the time, my kids were like 9 and 6 at the time, or no, they might have been 8 and 5 at the time that we first started the podcast. And you know, they had just started going back to school because COVID was like dying down a little bit. You know, I had my rhythms in working. We had opened this place. Like I was feeling good about, you know, I was comfortable with life at the time. And my wife and I was doing great. And then last year, everything just kind of like, and not in a bad way, but, you know, sometimes you have seasons where you get busier and it can give you more anxiety and you start to view things differently. So I'm like, dog, like 2 years ago, I was straight. Like I was vibing. Now I got to go out and get another job, start a business, have a kid. We trying to buy a house. We trying to do all these things. And how do I make that happen? And how do I get back to a place where I feel free enough to like move? And I think that's through, you know, content. And so, yeah, you know, I'm not saying we're going to work to monetize this, but I am going to say that it matters. So
I mean, bro, don't wake the dog up. It's in me. It's just, it's in me. I could turn the dog up, but I think one thing I realized with rap, as much as I loved it, and I still love it, I think I was using it as a means to get somewhere monetarily. Like that's where all my focus went. So now with trading, I'm seeing the possibilities with trading. It's like I kind of felt free coming into this podcast, knowing like, all right, I don't have to make this work for money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with hearing you say that doesn't mean that we don't have to make it work for money.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't work for the money, I'm cool. Before it was like, this needs to work because I need an outlet for money. That's what I'm saying. So that's not my mindset.
I don't think
we can amp it up.
I don't think, and even when I say that, I'm not saying that we will make Midtown Disciples the revenue source.
Got you.
I think what we do in podcasting together can actually open doors for us to do more stuff, you know, with the creative agency and with the Connect, and, you know, we can monetize this place. Like, we can get people in here, and, you know, one of my goals is to like help you quit your job. Like, that's one of my goals.
That I'm not going to rebuke at all. I received that with open arms.
I would much rather just have you, you know, work here, and then, you know, we could do podcasting for a living, even if it's not our podcast. We have a podcast studio, and we just have clients in and out all the time, recording, doing videos, all of that. But right now, we have one podcast, and it's called Midtown Disciples. So if you're already subscribed, stay subscribed. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I think you'll like it.
Hit the like, hit the bell. We got to get back on our bully.
Oh, yeah.
But if you coming across us on TikTok, maybe not this part. If you sat through this is YouTube, but you sat through all this, you really liked us and you love this, so we thank you for that.
Yeah.
We wrapping it up, man.
There it is.
Ain't no outro.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's it.